Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the EUphoria podcast. We are days away from the start of our spring split. I almost said winter again. It's so weird. From our second little mini season tournament thing. I'm Drakos. Caedrel's here.
Spring split.
Yeah, it's very odd. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud. And if you just pretend the winter split never happened, you don't have to acknowledge the fact that one of the best AD carries in our region was just not playing the game at all. But luckily we have him here today, none other than Upset, now of Vitality. How did you enjoy it?
So weird to see you in a
Yeah, this is
Vitality
very
logo. What the
bizarre.
hell is that? Oh my god.
I chose Vitality for the colors. So it's like a gradual shift
Yeah, I see.
from Fnatic to Vitality.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
orange to yellow.
Orange to yellow.
I don't know where I go next.
I don't know where you go either.
Do you go for like a, I don't know, what is
You should
what
have
is
started
red?
at
Maybe red?
Astralis.
Red?
You could have started at
Astralis?
Astralis and
Not
then
sure.
gone Fnatic and then gone Vitality.
And then your
I would've
history
felt
is fire.
smoother.
Yeah. That was the podcast. Thank you.
I don't know what the best part of that was. I think that the joke was bad, but you're so pleased with yourself that it made the joke good.
on the fly,
You're
early in
just-
the morning,
you're
I'm
just-
on it.
You're dying right now.
Yeah, the other one is Bumblebee from Transformers, but that's all else I think about.
Yeah. That's cool. That should be a partnership that you guys go for. Anyway, yeah. So you just
Love
chilled.
Transformers.
Love it. Michael Bay. Let's go.
This is gonna be
You know
a
my
funny
favorite.
podcast.
Okay, sorry. Sidetrack. But my favorite Transformers fun fact
Go on then.
in the OG Transformers.
With
Yeah.
Megan Fox.
No. Before Megan Fox, like
okay.
the cartoon.
Okay.
Megatron just turned into a gun. He like couldn't shoot himself. Like
I can't
someone
look at
else
any
had to
comments.
pick Megatron up and shoot him.
He just turned into a gun,
He
just fell on the
just
ground.
turned into a gun.
And someone had to
someone
pick him up.
else had to pick up Megatron. Like the big bad guys, like, oh shit, watch out! Pop! He just falls on the ground. Someone else had to. Yeah.
That's the most random
Absolutely
thing I've ever
piss
heard.
Useless. I was like, I don't know who designed this. This is just like.
They should have referenced that in the movie somehow.
Yeah,
Just
Megatron
once.
should have just been useless the entire movie. He should have just
Was probably
talked
the
a lot
same
of
guy
shit.
that made Yumi.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what it feels like to me. It's like OG Yumi. You know what I mean? You need your Garen.
But she's been reworked now.
Yeah, 13.5, which is too far in the future. Don't make it confusing.
Yeah.
13.5 is gonna be sick.
She gets
though.
friendship points.
Yes.
But she actually is reworked or like just.
No, it's like completely different.
Yeah, she
Okay.
gets friendship points.
She's a
now.
dog now?
She's
She's a
not.
dog. She's a
complete-
dog.
She's not a dog. She's still a cat.
She turned into a lion.
Shields instead of. I don't. We can't talk. I'm gonna lose it because I'm gonna forget how Yumi actually works
Okay.
right now,
Guys,
and she doesn't.
stick to the script.
Stick to the script. Yeah, we actually have a script. Let's go back.
Next on the script.
What does it say here?
What did you
Transformers.
do this last season? Question mark.
Yeah, winter.
Winter.
Yeah, it was a weird situation. I didn't think I would not be playing for a split, but in the
Neither
end,
did Niski. Just it happens. The best of us.
yeah, it's true. No, I just had, I guess, a lot of differences with how I thought the team should be run and the management how the team should be run.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I saw like a lot of comments that like I didn't get along with my teammates or anything, but to be honest, I have absolutely no problem with any of them, and I actually like them.
Yeah.
But
So you didn't punch Wonder in the face.
I would never. He's
Okay.
way stronger than me.
All right.
That's a bad point.
I love that that's the reason. Just making up rumors for the record. No one ever actually said that happened.
Like the Reckless Brox rumor, where apparently they like hit each other in the face.
I don't know if that actually happened. They said it
League
didn't.
boxing. Maybe there's a market for it.
League boxing match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just say that
Take of us left.
You just play like an
Setting
ARAM
score.
1v1, 5 minutes boxing, 5 minutes gaming,
Oh my god.
like the chess boxing.
I can imagine some absolutely like roided out CEO of some esports organization in the future being like, we settle our problems in the ring. You've got like these two like 17-year-olds fresh from mom's
Like the
house,
olden days.
like with a disagreement on jungle pathing, and he's like, fight! He's just screaming him, and they're like, ah!
Could happen.
We're gonna settle this like the olden days.
Like the
Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, basically, I had just some fundamental disagreements, I would say,
Yeah.
which led me to wanting to explore my options, but
Hmm.
and also them not seeing like that I'm the best fit for the vision they had
Mhm.
right now, I would say. And it was tricky the off season because of course you have a buyout.
Yeah.
There's a lot of complicated situations going on with contracts and everything.
Yeah.
So it actually ended up that I couldn't join the team that I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was a big change, I guess, for
Yeah.
my life. I mean, I was still under contract, of course. It was not like I needed to find a new job or anything. But yeah, going from like competing for 6 years, every off season is like preparing for the split, and then every
Yeah.
split is preparing for
There's
the
very
match.
little time where you're
Yeah.
not actively playing or thinking about League of Legends?
Yeah, so I try to use it to get some things in order because I have not really taken time. Like I'm starting my driver's license.
Responsibilities
Wait,
and life stuff.
same though. But I'm also 30, so it's much more pathetic when I talk about it. But yeah, respect.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a house like a couple of years ago, and like moving into that takes like a lot of time because I was renting it, of course, and I need to move into that. So setting up like the fundamental things of my life, spending a lot of time with my family.
Yeah,
nice.
Of course. And then I did a solo queue challenge, which was the worst idea ever because it just put me in like such a degen place again where I was literally just only playing League for like 2 weeks straight. And I was sick at the time too.
I've finally fixed my life. I have organized everything. I have a healthy sleep schedule. Now I'm going to play for 20 hours a day. What's that, family? You got your time. Go away.
I got to win this challenge.
It's my time now. Me and League of Legends.
That was not a good idea. But so yeah, basically just trying to, of course, I was still very involved with League. It's my passion. I really love to play League. I love to watch all of it.
Yeah.
So I was still like pretty on top of it, but just trying to like make it somewhat healthy.
Yeah.
And not just a pointless, endless grind that is not really helping me improve much. So yeah, that was kind of my off season to now at the end.
To summarize, yeah.
Sounds productive. Like life-wise, sounds like it was like a lot of tasks that were kind of neglected that needed to get done, where you didn't have really time for.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the break was good for you to just
figure things out. Do you feel like you're in a better place now coming back to pro than you maybe would have been if you had just started playing for a different team in winter? Like, do you feel like
if I would have played in that Fnatic team the next year and there wasn't like changes like in how we should do things as a team, I don't think I would have been happy. Last year, I think all the players were pretty good. I mean, of course, some performed better, some worse, like in every team. But I think the way we practiced, the way we functioned as a team was just so not fitting for me because there was, I think, just a lot of conflict avoidance, a lot of not trying to fix the problems in like a productive way, I would say.
Yeah. Which I think is a normal, like it's a very, as rough as it is, a very standard thing in teams. Like I think learning how to deal with conflict on a team is something that like no matter how long an org has been around, no matter how long management has been around, people really struggle with. Yeah.
Definitely, especially if the personalities can be like really different.
Yeah. And
at the same time, I also felt like everyone knew they were good, but I think we didn't really want to prove it like on the daily basis in scrims. Which for me, I'm really competitive. I really want to like win scrims and have good performances, right? And be competitive about it. And I think sometimes when that didn't feel like it was the same energy, I was pretty disappointing for me, I think, and really stressful. So I would say I'm in a better place if I would have been in the same environment, but I don't think it was like about particular individual people. I think just the way we set up practice was pretty wrong, I guess.
Yeah. Like the fundamentals, the environment.
No, just like when you start to practice, what you want to get out of the practice.
So like the structure behind the practice.
Yeah.
So do you feel like now, to kind of talk a little bit about Vitality, has Vitality so far been a bit of a better fit? I know that probably because they've made so many changes that they might still be figuring out exactly how they want their environment to run and function, especially with you coming in as a very veteran player. But do you feel like you can see the path forward Vitality, or are they maybe already at that point where you want them to be? How do you like the environment there so far?
I mean, I've been like a little behind the scenes, like how this offseason works between the winter split and the spring split. I can't believe they named the split after them. It's crazy.
The cap split.
The winter split.
The spring is
wait, so you're calling it the cap split?
The spring split is the Perkz split. And the summer, I don't know.
Summer. Who else do we have?
I can't believe it took me like 5 seconds to get that.
What, you get the winter split?
What's Janko's last name?
Marcin Yankovic? It's something like
Yankovic?
I don't know. It's not Yankovic. Now I gotta look it up because I'm just gonna make stuff up.
Marcin
Jankowski.
Jankowski. So that's the summer split.
Perkovic, Yankovic, Wintovic. Just everyone's a Vitz.
Which actually means joke in German.
Oh, there you go.
Very on top.
Yankovic?
Hilarious.
No, Witz means. Yankovic.
You know this.
No, I didn't know that word.
You do.
Okay. My German's horrible.
Yeah, but whatever.
So
I'm not gonna have a fight with you right now.
Cap split,
basically, like the last game of, for example, Vitality, who dropped out like 5-6, and the split starting is 2 weeks, I think, or 3 weeks. and conversations between teams don't move that fast, right? It's like they talk, like who can we change from the roster? Like, are you interested to trade? Blah blah blah. I talk to the organization as well, of course. Like, is there like, am I interested in playing for the team? Like, what do I think and things like that. And then you basically, it's like your next months are like decided on a few days, and it's super stressful because you don't know if you have to change everything. Like, I will have to move. I have to find a place in Berlin. I need to integrate myself in the team again. And that happened like a few days ago while I was sick. So so far I had like 4 days of scrims and 3 of them online, I think. And
Damn.
So you literally went from, hey, we want to pick you up, need to buy you out, move, scrims within like 4 or 5
days. I don't even talk to the org, right, at first.
Yeah.
Because the org has to talk to Fnatic and stuff. So
yeah.
It's even like, you know something is happening, but it's not even up to you. Like, you're live for the next time. So it's like kind of stressful, right?
This is the first time that I think any org has had to do a transition this quickly, which is already hard. And it seems like when there's so much, bureaucracy, which is obviously like, there's like processes there designed to stop, any unfair practices from happening.
Yeah.
But if anyone in that process drags their feet, which would be totally reasonable, again, because it's the first time a team has had to turn around something this quickly, that sucks. It just instantly makes it, because like you aren't really in control. Even if you know exactly what you want there, you just have to kind of wait for all the pieces to fall into place.
And every team has, of course, their own interests, right?
Yeah, well, their own interests
and everything. So.
And even if we forget that, even if we assume the process runs completely smoothly, you know what I mean? And negotiations are super friendly, and it's like, that's our number, great, that's your number, boom, boom, boom. You still like, the manager of that team presumably isn't already like, this guy sucks, time to get the next guy, while they're still playing. Yeah. Like, even if you just end, there's still barely any time. It's like the difference of 2 weeks.
And the format is not like, okay, you don't have much time, but it's 9 weeks, and then you have a break for playoffs, and then you can like figure it out. It's like, you better win some games fast, because you don't want to be in a position where you start losing your first games and you are like under a lot of pressure to just make it and not to actually get better.
Yeah.
I think being like comfortable, for example, like G2, they had enough wins that they could like experiment a little bit, try out some drafts, lose some games, but still were in the top 4, and then there's not so much pressure, because if you're really under pressure to make it, you're not really going to improve so much.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the situation now. I still feel pretty confident. Like, I'm playing AD carry. It's not that hard to like press your buttons good. That's anyways what I do well. I mean, the impression has been very short, but I really love the support I've been getting so far in like the moving process and everything. And also, like, when I'm in the team, the way people take accountability, not just for their own play, but also like if things are going wrong in the game, that there's a conversation about it and it's addressed.
Yeah.
I think that is like, that makes me so happy, because usually I'm always that guy that like,
and it sucks to be the only one, because then everyone just thinks you're a dick.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, not a dick, but like, what is this guy's problem? Like, why does he want to talk about the game and like point out when I do something wrong and try to like do something about it?
Yeah.
And when I am not the person that has to do that, or like, of course I will do it if that's something important.
Yeah.
And always in a constructive way. It's not like anyone is toxic or like insulting anyone. But that just like really makes me happy.
I remember we were in Schalke in 2018, and it's 2017. We were struggling, and we were losing like a day of scrims. Upset was 17. He called everyone, all the players, said, "Come to my room." He says, like, all of you just flame the shit out of each other right now and just say all your problems. Like, say everything that you have a problem with each other right now, because the management or the coaches weren't getting involved. So I can see that you're the person that wants to address problems now. And if people are not receptive to that and they're like dodging the issues or get easily offended, the productivity just drops instantly, and it adds just stress to you.
That's a great story, because even if that was a horrible idea, I respect that you had the confidence and were willing to step out of your comfort zone to just try something.
No, I mean,
at 17, that's crazy to me.
Do you remember that when you did that?
I don't remember that, but that sounds like something I
would do. And we all went to his room. We were like sitting in a circle next to your bed. And I remember everyone just like looking each other in the eyes one by one, just saying what.
No, actually, now that you say it, I have some memories of it. Yeah.
And that was, I think that was the first time I'd been through like the flame each other process, because it's like letting out baggage,
Yeah. I mean, you have to talk. Like, I think that's really difficult for people to communicate, especially in person.
Yeah.
Working on relationships is always really difficult, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is lacking a lot. But my personality type, how I feel, is that I really don't like when there's like tension between people that is not talked about, or we have, especially when it's in the game, and we have issues that are like very clear, and we don't really get to a point where we can talk about it or fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely something really important.
Yeah.
So you see that in Vitality now, like you see early stages.
Well, I think from what you've said, you feel like you see it, but it sounds like you just haven't had enough time to have a full assessment.
I don't know, like if we do bad, like a team is not a team till the split release starts, until you lose some games, until you have some adversity. Like we are just scrimming. We can't scrim all the teams right. We're doing well in the scrims we had so far. So there's not like a lot of stress and stuff. I think this is easier when people shut down or they like open up and like let themselves go into the process of doing that. So far I'm really happy about it. Yeah. Of course, yeah.
That's good to see. How has it been with the top jungle language situation? Like, do you feel like the communication's easy? Do you feel like they've already grown to have enough of a baseline to communicate with you well?
No, I wouldn't say that so far. I think they're trying really hard. I think it's really different, of course, the language.
Yeah.
Obviously. No, they're definitely doing their best, and they're really involved in like reviewing and trying to get their point of view across. I think it's not quite there yet for obvious reasons. You don't learn a language talking about a complicated thing like in
especially emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it would be totally unreasonable, and it would be one thing if they had spent an entire season just doing a language intensive. But language is second prio to playing League of Legends and will always be as long as they're playing, probably. And that means that it's just juggling anything else while also playing League of Legends, I think, is so incredibly difficult. It's why players rarely have hobbies. It's why a lot of players struggle to have relationships, So I think that like respect to them for continuing the grind of learning a new language while also trying to play at a high level.
Yeah, but no, I mean, League is like kind of its own way of communicating. Like I kind of get what they want to do because they're pretty good at the game. So in that way, I understand the most when we play League, like what they exactly want to do. But it's just a process. I'm pretty happy with where they're at right now, and I think it's a good foundation to build on.
That's cool. So I know that you and Luca have obviously played against each other a lot in your history, but I know you guys also spent a little bit of time together back when you were subbing. I think it was for MSI that you subbed for G2, and you were like, I hyped this up as like the big training arc for Upset when you first joined the league, because I thought it was really cool back in the Sven Mithy era when Sven Mithy were like uncontested #1
legends.
But is that like, did you guys already have like a personal relationship going into this? Were you guys like already friends? Were you guys just people that had played together once? Like, how would you describe your relationship with Perkz? Because that seems like the strongest connection you have.
No, I mean, what we have in common is we really both like summer. So we like to go to the pool and swim.
go on vacations, hot tub talks.
So yeah, we're just really into swimming, I think. No, of course. I talked with him for a long time. We are friends for a long time, especially when he transitioned to AD carry.
Yeah,
it's a funny sentence.
We made a world finals.
We talked a lot. In general, I always really admired his like energy to make it work in the team, and the respect he gets from the people he's working with to lead the team. I think he does it really incredibly well. I think he's a great person in terms of building relationships and maintaining them, and being also not afraid to say what he thinks and doing it in a way that the other person takes it seriously. So yeah, I think there's a lot to learn from him over the years for me, and he's also the GOAT AD carry, of course.
Yeah, I mean, he's the most successful AD carry our region's ever had.
Yeah, he's next to Reckless, I presume, in terms of achievements.
He won MSI.
He didn't win MSI, though.
That's
true.
That's true.
So, of course, I can learn a lot about AD carry from him specifically as well.
Kai Sazaya.
So, yeah, it's just great. No, jokes aside, we know each other for a long time. We're friends. We wanted to play together for some time.
Did that make it easier to integrate into the team? Did it make it easier because you felt like you were joining someone who... Because obviously Vitality's a new org, and every org is going to like sell themselves to you when you talk about joining, like, we've got it all figured out. We're the best. But did it feel like more real and more tangible because you knew someone there and you knew kind of what he was about and what his like work ethic was like?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I'm talking about with accountability. It definitely makes me feel happy to be there. because I've been kind of wanting. We both wanted to play with each other for a long time, so
Yeah.
It didn't really set in yet for me because it has been one day, like I said, in the office. Like actually being in person.
Wait, when did you get to Berlin?
Yes, Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just basically come in the week of your games.
Yeah. So if I stomp, you can make like a crazy narrative.
Hell yeah.
And I already
Six
like,
stories. This man is sick, rolled up, just under the weather.
No
scrims. Bam.
I mean, I'm used to the no scrims at least. So that's good.
You have the art of like subtle shade down to a T. You sneak in like so many like it's a master class in like how to give a PR interview while also talking shit.
Yeah, as we just gloss over it, you just look back and you re-listen to it and you're like, oh.
Wait a second. I think that might have plausibly it wasn't, but it could have been a little bit of shade. Who knows? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows where. Nobody knows how.
Shade is not a bad thing in the sun. Keeps it cool.
He's also got those jokes. In the sun, in the vacation.
Oh, man.
With some drinks.
I mean, that I was kind of like wondering what we were going to get to talk to you about today. And it sounds like we'll have to wait and see and talk to you more, on the broadcast or on EUphoria to figure out more what Vitality is like and where you guys are going to end up. Because it just seems like you guys just need time to figure it out. But I think that is a ton of pressure, again, for the team, to bring you in and then also for you to show up and then perform. Like, is this something you worried about? I mean, you're a guy that's, I think, over the years kind of mastered or gotten used to dealing with pressure. I know it kind of plagued you at the start of your career, but is this something you're worrying about, or you're kind of like, it's going to be what it's going to be?
And to be honest, I mean, I guess I was more nervous at the start, definitely, but like the reason I didn't play so good like in my first split was because I was really sick, to be honest. So I think I have just problems. This stress, I think, affects my health. I think I need to work on that. Yeah. I guess I still haven't worked fully on it. Yeah. But I don't know. I just went to defend myself. I didn't really answer your question, though.
No, I mean, that's hard. I mean, how do you feel about like dealing with the? Are you worried at all about this? Because like we talked about how fast the split is, how little time there is to improve. You've said that you don't have a ton of times for scrims, and I think that like that's a lot of pressure for Vitality.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure for you. Like, how do you feel about the situation that you find yourself in?
Yeah, I mean, it is surreal to think for me that I'm gonna play like on stage in like, I don't even know, 4 days or something.
Yeah,
and then
maybe
it's 3 weeks.
It's over in 3 weeks.
3 weeks,
it's crazy.
But overall, I feel pretty confident in myself. Yeah. I think we will figure it out as a team.
Yeah.
Of course, we are still playing like animals, but that's what most people do.
Then you tame it in slowly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, of course, you have thoughts like, "Oh, what if this goes horribly wrong?" But I've always had these thoughts. I think it's part of it, and I accept them. And it just also helps me to stay focused on preparing. Really trying to have all the outcomes or like all the scenarios that I need to be prepared. And I feel good in that process. It's what's fun for me, I think.
Do you feel like you have a good grasp on where this team can be by the end of this season, or do you feel like you still need time to figure it out? Because normally this is where I would ask, what are your expectations for the season? But I mean, if you've been scrimming for 4 days and you still haven't played any stage games yet, right? It seems unfair to be like, tell me you're gonna win the split. Like, because
we can definitely win the split.
There you go. There's the one liner we need.
Now we need that title. Ship it.
Yeah, we can definitely win the split, but we can also have problems, and we have to see how we deal with them, right? It's always a process. I think no team you can just put together and you already know it's gonna go perfect or it's gonna go bad.
Yeah,
it's a process. So far, I've liked what I've seen. I think all the players are good.
Yeah,
like really good and had past success. So yeah, I'm excited just for the journey.
Were you worried at all looking at Vitality's like history of players that they signed constantly to try to make
Vitality
work?
Science players like Vitality's got more viable junglers on their bench than some like leagues have playing actively.
Did you look at that concern, being like, am I the one that's going to be able to fix this despite them going through like 10 different players in a year?
Yeah, it's a lot.
No, I mean, I think that's usually a good sign that they're trying really hard to make it work. Of course, I think they have something good going. I mean, they were like 5th or 6th, like for a lot of splits. It's not like they're doing horrible. I mean, maybe for like the expectations and things like that, they underperformed, but it's not like it's a bad team. It's like they're performing like kind of average so far.
Yeah.
And I think I have the ability to help the performance of the team and try to lift them. Of course, we have to see like always how it's actually going to play out. But
Yeah.
no, I don't feel really worried about that at all. No.
Yeah. I think that when I look at this from an outside perspective, like you guys could show up and smash, but given you are coming in what is like an incredibly short turnaround, if I look at Vitality from an outside perspective, I just go, this is a project we're not going to get to see the full strength of until summer, probably, because that, like, if you don't end up going to MSI, that's the time where teams really get to like 100% figure their stuff out.
Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong, and I would be happy to be wrong to see you just show up and start smashing, because you're right. Again, it's a great story. But I think from an outside perspective, it's hard to imagine that. Now, that's
then you're saying you come in week of scrims, get through the 3 weeks.
Yeah, then why do we even
straight
scrim
to
in
the
the
best of-
offseason? Let's just start a week before.
win,
you know what I
win the
mean?
splits, go to MSI
Yeah.
in like a turnaround time of what, a week and a half of practice, or like
And that,
less.
again, that would make the story that much freaking cooler if you do pull it off. But I think it is. We'll see. And I don't want to like undermine your own expectations, but I just think that, like, just to contrast, I think from my perspective, at least maybe from yours as well, Mark, I think that if you're a Vitality fan, it's like, just remember that as much pressure as you have on yourself, if there's any Vitality fans listening to this, it's like, still give the team some space.
Well,
this is a tough timeline.
But I do think the ideal situation is like the good takeaways from Vitality. I'm sure you're watching their games in winter. Is like Photon, it looks insane.
Yeah.
Bo looks a little bit inconsistent in some games, but there's like potential. Just they struggled in bot, right, in that series. Like bot lane just got smashed.
Yeah.
They were losing
True.
their tower in like 8-9 minutes. So if that band-aid is fixed, and now all of a sudden you can come in and slot into a team where they were lacking that strength, then they could turn into a great team.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's your main focus, the individual, I presume, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's my thought process too, of course. I think their weakness was definitely the bot laning phase, what I've seen. And I think then they had some breakdown as a team where they just went kind of off the meta, trying to figure something out that works for them, which didn't really. No, I don't plan on losing my tower anytime soon.
You will defend it with your life.
Me and guys are doing pretty well so far. I think his skill baseline is pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, bot lane, you always need to get on the same page. So that comes with talking together after playing. But yeah, I feel good playing with guys, actually.
Because we haven't actually spoken to you ever since, God knows, it was sometime last year. And you went to Worlds. It was your first Worlds. You beat T1. Did you learn a lot at Worlds? As much as maybe things were not going the way you wanted, or like getting out of groups. Was there an experience that you took away from it in terms of like growing as a player?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we didn't scrim much. That's the only sad thing. But in the scrims we had, or the games, I didn't feel like I was completely outmatched at all or anything. I actually felt quite good, even though maybe we weren't like in the best shape me and Hilly have ever been in. I think we had times where we were like really, really good. Like really, really top level. I think we still did fine. And we also played like a lot of 2v2s versus like Genji bot lane, a bit was Damon, not Damon, DRX bot lane. No, it was great. I think the Asian players really have a great eye for detail. And I think that's the biggest difference in terms of laning, especially how they space. It's really beautiful to play against and a lot to take away from. So yeah, definitely helped me a lot in that sense.
Do you think the practice level was, obviously it's world-class players and it's like top 4 of each region. Do you think that there's a stark contrast in like just firepower of laning phase of these Asian players in like bot lane, for example? Like you feel the difference of like the pressure?
Yeah, it feels really fun to play. I really enjoy scrimming with these teams. They are really, really good. And yeah, I love it.
I guess the good news is MSI in London, even if you don't make finals, you don't make... what are you looking at me like that for?
I'm just curious where this is going.
If you
I
don't,
get it now.
if you
I figured
don't,
it out where you're
if you
going
don't
with
like make MSI as an European team,
you can
still maybe scrim or at least like play Champions Queue or
That's
whatever
good.
with some of those players.
That makes me happy.
So that's our
a good
booster
point.
and cope into Worlds that we'll have like a mini bootcamp for all our teams.
True.
And then we'll win Worlds. And then we can just retire all happy together and we can just shut down the whole show.
Yep, agree. This is the final year because
Just
it's the year we win.
It's like a massive transformer. The LEC studio, the second you win, closes up.
Closes up.
What does it turn into?
Our broadcast is the
small
Megatron gun
gun.
for you
a very small
or one
gun.
of our teams to lift up.
Just turns into a gun. Disappears. Buries itself underground. It's like a time capsule.
Time
They
capsule.
would all like remember but forget.
Okay, I don't know. You are on another level by
I
now.
don't know
my
what
friend.
happens.
And I
What was
into your
this tea?
tea,
What does Phil give me?
Darjeeling,
Darjeeling.
baby.
Don't give that to me again.
And some extra stuff. Just kidding. Yeah,
Feels
bringing
like
it back. Like, well, MSI in London is a good point. And I'm excited to see the level that our teams can present. Speaking more domestically now, tying it in. G2 did qualify for MSI. They feel like the big bad
Round
right
of
now.
applause, everyone.
Good job. I like that. Good on you. Good
Manners,
sportsmanship.
Sportsmanship.
Yeah, obviously felt pretty one-sided. Felt like the clear number one team from our perspective. Is it? Do you see it the same? Where it's like G2 up here, and then there's kind of a gap, and there's everyone else. Do you think that they are? Like, how far ahead do you think they are? Are there teams? Are you guys going to be within touching distance? Are there teams that can beat them, or is it just like G2 are clearly number one right now?
Yeah, I mean, from the outside, it clearly looked like they were the best team. I think there's teams that have the potential, like skill-wise, on the roster to match them. For example, I think Koi has like a lot of talent. I think we have a lot of talent. I think some teams maybe have just slightly worse laning phase.
Yep.
Plus G2 is like really good at team fighting and mid game, and they also have really individual team identity with like a lot of creative strategies. So I think they are definitely ahead right now, but I don't think they're like unmatchable in skill. I think it just
so it's not 3 faker topside anymore.
No, I mean they're pretty good still, of course.
3 baby faker topside.
3 baby faker topside. 3 faker bot side, maybe.
Yeah, it's crazy how they just took Yike and implemented him so well.
Yeah.
Like into this style. I feel like Caps is just the core of everything. Like he just makes the whole thing function.
I think that I don't want to undercut Yike here, but I think that one of the struggles that I've had in the past is like if you are on the best team, unless you're like objectively inting, you usually look like a good player. So I know you're not a jungler, but what has your impression been of Yike from the outside? Because I think for the average audience member, Yike shows up, he gets kills, he's doing well, that's good enough. But I've said that about junglers in the past, and then they like leave that team, and you realize that maybe they weren't as hyped. Like, what's your?
No, I think he's the real deal. I think he's. I also in solo queue, I think he plays really good. I just think he's a really good player. Is he the best jungle? I don't know. That's like always a conversation you can have when there's a lot of really good players at the position. But he's definitely one of them. That's pretty clear to me from watching them play.
Yeah, that makes me really happy because I think that like again, people are very quick when a team is as dominant as G2 have been to just assume every player is best in their position, and so I think it's always good to call out specifically when
it is
players are doing well.
The league as a whole, this is the first time you said in 6 years you're on the sideline just watching. Do you feel like the league looks stronger or weaker because G2 is just stomping everyone?
I think this format is like incredibly volatile.
Yeah.
It didn't look like the league is much weaker. It's just a lot more like parity, or how's it called? Like
parity. They're closer.
Yeah,
they're closer.
Because I think, like I said, it's more volatile. So even the teams that we usually expect in the long term to do pretty poorly, like let's say like a BDS or Astralis or something, in the short term, with like a different kind of pressure because you just need to make top 8, and then you actually get to play best of 3s, which is like less pressure because you have more games to show. It looked like it actually enables these teams a bit more, and the teams that are expected to do well, that usually take some time as well, underperformed heavily. So
true.
I can't really speak of the strength. So far what I've seen in scrims, it's not like, oh my god, what happened? I was gone for 2 months and now everyone is so good. I still feel pretty confident. Like I feel pretty good with my level.
Yeah.
I'm still the best. No, I'm joking.
Well, you were.
Yeah, I still think I'm pretty good. Like, of course, like maybe I go on stage now and I get cheese level 1 and I run it down for 15 minutes.
9 games in a row.
And this is like my narrative for the split.
I like it because you didn't say I go on stage and I get beat, or like someone outmatches me. You say I go on stage and get cheesed. Like you still have enough confidence in yourself to just say like, they have to cheese me. If they want to take me out, they have to cheese me.
So I feel good, but the level seems good too. Like I think people are willing to play more things. I think people are willing to try to play more aggressive. It's good. It's a good direction the league is moving into.
Yeah. Well, you guys
exciting. I can't wait to see Upset back in bot lane. Like, I feel like you've been dearly missed just because, like, we talk about bot lane strengths and we're like Hansama, and then like Exakic's on the rise, and players like this.
Shout out to Exakick, by the way. Great
massive shout out to Exakick. But then, like, we've missed. It feels like the first time in a while that we've not had like the AD carry trifecta. Before it was like you, Hans, Reckless. These players you could always rely on. Even Perkz back in the days. But that's just kind of disappeared. Like the names are changing, and there's newer names coming in.
Well, and I think we were missing it a little bit this season too, especially because like Comp, who was the most successful AD carry in our
Mhm.
last season.
Yeah.
Him and Trimby really struggled in those best of ones. They didn't really look good until best of 3, best of 5.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm excited because you've got new names like Exakick, who's doing pretty well. He's rising up. Kabe's been showing up in a big way. And we'll see if he can continue to do that, which I think is exciting because he's obviously a much older name. But then having you back as a player who like really cares about 2v2 bot lane is hype because I can't watch another Lucian Nami game. Like, just put me out of my misery at this point because it looked like trash for the entirety of our best of 5 stage. And like, maybe it just sucks in Europe. It's possible. But I'm ready to see.
Yeah, it's nerfed in Europe actually.
It's nerfed in Europe. It's actually on the EU West, all servers.
It's just geographical.
Geographically, it's just bad.
Yeah.
I'm just ready. I'm ready to see a player like you, and you and Hylissang were great about this, about really caring about the 2v2. And I think Mickey and Hansam are clearly a similar breed where they like really take pride in that 2v2. And not to say that, like, Crowny doesn't also care about this, or any of our other AD carries don't.
What's that shade?
No, because like I also think Crowny had a great season, so I was trying to shout out Crowny because I think Crowny's like been playing really well. You know what I mean?
Everyone's playing so well.
Everyone's playing.
There's no losers in our league.
Actually, no, everyone hasn't been playing well. Fnatic's bot lane did really bad. Excel's bot lane did really bad. Mercy and Jack Spectre really struggled. Not everyone did super well. But I'm ready to. I think that our league always improves when there are more people who really care about the 2v2. And I think the problem is that if you're on a team where your bot lane is struggling,
I mean, Europe's
you play away from your bot lane, and then that bot lane doesn't always necessarily get what they need to improve. But I think the more good bot lanes we have, the easier it'll be for every bot lane to learn to step up.
Yeah, I don't know if I just feel like Europe's just such a bot lane region. Like I don't know, mid bot lane, like there's never really like the carry tops, the Jaces, the hard carry. And as much as the meta might be shifting towards
Chasey Photon.
Chasey Photon has been.
We have just imported.
Better best top laners like.
They could be the EU top lane revolution, just shading our entire region of top laners, but
just get them to Worlds, so they just pick Jace and like solo killing me top. It's like,
yeah, Photon's Jace is pretty good.
We figured it out.
I like it.
So you're willing to play like an Ezreal lane if he's gonna play like Jace?
I always play Ezreal, of course.
Yeah, he's an Ezreal enthusiast. OG. It's not an insult to him.
Isn't it insane usually?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Is Ezreal an insult?
If you put an 80 carry on Europe on Ezreal, I think they're bad. Or you just like.
Actually, I'm looking at upset stats season 12.
Here we go.
Okay,
here we go.
Okay.
Because you're a stats guy, You, how many Ezreal games did you play last year? Do you think?
0.
No, you played
2. 2, yeah.
How many times did you win on it?
Probably 0.
Yeah, 0.
I shouldn't play Ezreal in that team. There's no way I'm playing Ezreal.
The Ezreal's struggling.
Ezreal's that champion where you have a good Ezreal game, you're like, this is the greatest champion ever. Best designed champion. I love it. And then you have a game where you miss all of your Qs and you do nothing under your towers. You get dove again and again. You're like, wow, this champion is useless.
Yeah, barely buying a Sheen on your first base. You're like, oh my god, get me out.
Actually, I used to play Ezreal, yeah. So,
I remember.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I remember.
Season 8, Season 9 more. Yeah, but that champ is more, you get carried a bit, usually. And you can carry if you play like a skill matchup and you really get ahead, but usually you
people don't
do
pick
so much
Ezreal to win in our region, at least. People pick Ezreal to lose gracefully more often than not.
Lose gracefully.
Yeah. Your coach looks at you and says, he gets mid prio, and you're like, he loses 90% of the matchups, and they're like, but mid prio.
Can Ezreal do it? Well, how have we talked? Just brought us to an Ezreal topic now.
Yeah.
I just thought it was worth bringing up. Let me think. I want to cast my mind back to previous upset narratives to check if they're still valid. We had upset.
He never made worlds.
Upset small champion pool.
Yeah, just picking OP champs.
Just picking OP champs exclusively. Kai'Sa.
Never made worlds, but he broke that.
S tier. Won't play the weird stuff. We'll play the weird stuff if it's good. Oh yeah, you're gonna play it. It's a new patch. Mm-hmm. It mostly looks the same. Maybe there's more melee supports, and we're in Europe, so I think Nautilus is gonna be is back to being king probably based on what we saw in playoffs. Is there any spicy stuff in the meta that you're excited to try out? Don't want you to give away your picks, but are there any lanes you're excited to play on stage again? Like maybe Lucian Nami.
I would like to play Lucian Nami.
Just gets like
some very Lulu Lucian Nami. I'm excited to play that again.
The classic.
Really OP, yeah.
Just like keep it going forever. Just never drop it and just constantly. Well, the Yuumi reworks will come in one day.
No, this guy's a degenerate grinder. This guy is, if it's S tier, he will play it.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no, the meta is more similar than different, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially EU was already playing like a lot of the Naut lanes to try to punish the range supports more.
Yeah.
So I think it's more similar.
Yep.
Maybe some Cho'Gath. I'm just gonna drop that.
Let's gloss over that quickly, so it looks like we didn't pay attention to it. Yeah, Cho'Gath AD carry I've seen.
It's in solo queue. Is it a plague
Gomuyushi's
on the
playing
game?
it, aiming everyone top them.
Yeah,
Deft.
Cho'Gath looks strong. Yeah.
Cho'Gath AD carry.
Little armor growth buffed. Cho'Gath AD carry.
I can't imagine you playing
It's
Cho'Gath.
real.
I don't know why. I'm just looking at it like
Yeah, it's weird.
There are
just
some
weird,
players
just
that you can
feasting
just
dragons.
never see them playing like the truly troll shit, and you are one of those. You are the guy who plays Senna in the Senna Wukong lane. You are the guy who plays.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know what you play. I mean, if maybe Senna Cho'Gath comes back, that'd be interesting.
I don't troll so much usually. Maybe I should more.
Maybe
Makes me
that's
more
the
troll. You don't
relatable.
troll enough.
makes me relate. Makes
Yeah,
you
it makes
relatable.
you more human.
Yeah.
I too sprint it.
I too int with troll picks for no reason.
Jesus. Wait, what year was it when it was like Mage Meta Bot? Was that season 8?
Yeah, season 8 summer.
Were you a Vladimir enthusiast back then?
Yeah, my Vladimir is crazy.
Rise?
We talked about
Actually,
Twilight.
your Rise was pretty good.
He's a big Twilight fan. He, of course, he's been playing Vladimir his whole life.
Vampires. dude.
He's just
Get
sad
rid of
that there's not a sparkly vampire skin for Vladimir. He's just disappointed.
Yeah,
If they made like a Star Guardian Vladimir,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's just gonna take over.
like
Yeah,
a Pokemon crossover, like a shiny.
Shiny Vladimir.
Your Rise as well. I remember
played
you were a
Rise, yeah.
Rise enthusiast as well.
Yeah,
So you have got the champs.
I got him down on one.
Yeah, don't worry.
Small
For
champion
the
pool.
imaginary mage
You would
meta you've
definitely
made up
see
in your
Vladimir.
head.
Small
you'll
champion pool
definitely-
narrative,
what-
whack.
It's whack. Yeah, we stuck to that one a little too long. You guys aren't the only ones making changes. Excel have come out and announced absolutely zero, despite some rumors. So just briefly,
Rumor has it.
rumor
that they have
has
limit
it,
on
which
support.
also Excel announce your roster. It's like 3 days till the
It's 3
season
days.
starts.
Yeah, like what are they doing?
It doesn't build confidence. If you don't come out with the sickest video, I'm gonna just be sad
Can you
because I
imagine they're
want to
like-
talk about your team, but right now there's nothing to talk about other than that you suck.
Can you imagine they sign someone, like hypothetically, they sign someone, they start scrimming, and they're like, okay, announce.
He's got 4 days of scrims under his belt.
no,
They're gonna
no,
sign
no,
someone
no.
for one.
They
Like,
scrim for like 4 days. The announcement video is ready, and then they lose all the scrims, and they're like, maybe we shouldn't announce him because he sucks. What do you mean?
doesn't-
Let's
it
just
doesn't-
find another player.
you're kind of leaving room for the public to fill in the blanks.
No,
and
I'm
you
kidding. It was a hypothetical. I said it was a hypothetical.
I know. I'm just. That's all I'm saying is on the
But
Excel side.
apparently it's limit.
The rumor has it is limit.
Apparently, yeah. Rumor has it. Rumor has
Yeah.
it.
Officially nothing. Rumor
Coming
has
back
it it's
from
limit.
Schalke. Was it Schalke? He
Did
was
you play?
last
I
time?
can't. You didn't.
I think BDS. as well.
BDS,
BDS
yeah, BDS
as
as
well.
well. Yeah.
Limit X Meti, the goats.
The goats. The
What is this?
good on
The goats. Wait, who was it that was doing this
It's
before?
G2 all last season. Or
Oh, it's
all
They do
last-
Broken
this?
Blade, yeah.
they
Broken
do
Blade
this.
always does this.
Oh.
They say a nice thing.
That was last
I
year.
think
you
a lot
mean.
of people do that.
You got a bit of
yeah.
G2 in your blood from the
No, I
from the
think that
MSI days.
True.
It's true.
from 2016.
2016 MSI. Yeah.
It's the MMO system.
Was it 2016 MSI?
17.
17.
27.
Yeah.
Oh, 6
16
years ago?
was vacation.
No, yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Go. No, you were there. You were
No,
there.
stop talking.
You were there. No, you're fine. You were there. You can talk about it.
No, not MSI. I wanted to say Limit is. I was making fun of him a bit, but I think he's actually good. I think he's a fun player.
He was
totally.
really good. I remember his Alistair was really good when he was.
I can't believe I just streamed. No,
no, stop it!
like I woke up from a dream.
Just like projecting
I
in the
wanted
night
to
terror.
cough and okay. That's
When he was learning under Sven used to just like traumatize him. He'd wake him up.
Mithy says something, he just goes, no!
Wake him up at 3 in the morning to make him run through bot lane 2v2s. That was his training arc. So he's just traumatized.
in the
Anytime he
hyperbolic
said
time
G2
chamber.
or MSI together in the same sentence, he
actually
just,
I didn't play a single game at MSI, but I was close to play a Scrim of Jungle actually.
Scream of
I think it's so long ago. Trick, they were playing SKT and Trick was so tilted. It was Peanut, I think. And he was always playing Lee Sin and like completely one-sided on Lee. And the meme was like in the team, like, Peanut Lee Sin is like so good, you know?
And Trick was just getting...
And Trick was like getting triggered slowly. And he was, SKT was pretty good as well. And he was pretty tilted. So he went down and he ate and somebody went to talk to him and it took some time. So I was
So you were
warming
like,
up my
you were
Lee Sin,
ready.
actually.
you were getting your
Warming
like mouse plugged in, doing some stretches.
Oh, you're back? Okay.
okay, yeah, never mind.
Rolling up my mouse.
You would have picked you would have just taken Lee in first
Dude,
pick, wouldn't you?
my Lee was nuts at the time. I was in Brazil. My Lee.
You
was
guys,
crazy.
we keep coming back to MSI.
Anyways,
No one needs to know this.
Limit.
Limit.
Limit is. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think he plays really aggressive usually. I
Mhm.
think he is a much better match with Patrick.
Paddy.
I think that Paddy, that bot lane looked so dysfunctional. Taragamas and Patrick. They played so
It
bad.
was really surprising because Mickey,
Why though? I don't get
Mickey
it.
Patrick were the people that were contesting you and Hilly last year.
Yeah, they were playing good. I think, going from Mickey to Targamas, I think was a shock a little bit because Targamas is playing like really different. He was playing like a lot of roaming, like go to caps and caps will do something big, or like play like Senna stuff. I think it's just he was focused on really different things, and I think what Patrick was focused on with Mickey was like actually playing the game like in a really standard good 2v2 way. So yeah, I think it was just a big shock, and then they also individually underperformed. I think it's not just Targamas. I think Patrick also had bad games, which can happen, of course, if you don't get on that same page with your support. It's really frustrating when you think you should be doing better as well. So yeah, so I think it's good that they make a change, because if you do so poorly, I think usually trying to stick it out will not work, because it's too much stress.
We talked about this on the podcast last season. It's like in this format, if stuff goes bad and you finish 9th, 10th, it almost feels like you're basically forced to make a roster change, because you need to turn things around in such a short period of time that you need just a big change. Even if it's not one individual's player's fault, it almost feels like you're forced to just change a player, because it's the only way to get a fresh start between seasons.
Basically, that's how it feels like, yeah.
You know, I was just thinking in classic EUphoria fashion, we'll finish this podcast. It'll be announced later tonight. And then
we'll look like
idiots as if we're getting like...
This is on Wednesday. So far, Excel have tweeted a gray JPEG and or PNG to meme their roster announcement.
Also, you were talking about Limits Alistar.
Yep.
He didn't play any Alistar last year. It was season 11. That was 2 years ago.
That's what I remember.
It's crazy how long ago that was. I was thinking about
Schalke
Alistar
Miracle
as well.
Run, no?
Yeah, I think it was something along those lines. I don't know if it was a Miracle Run, but...
No, I think he wasn't even in that team. It was Dreams.
Oh, it was Dreams.
It was Dreams and Neon.
Neon. No, who was the... Yeah, he was off the team by then.
No, they had a good run in Spring Split, I think, when they they took G2 to 5 games. They made top 4.
Yep.
I think that was the...
Bless your memory, sir.
Yeah, they did. I can see it here. G2 to 5 games, LEC Spring Playoffs.
So we'll kind of see what happens with Excel,
we'll see what
I guess.
He's definitely like a mini sport player, right? He just plays like loads of... I'm just looking here, loads of Leona, Alistar.
He'll be ready.
Like, it's his thing. So
and again, I think
it gives the team like a direction.
You're hoping for the clean mental reset for Excel.
Yeah.
Because I was very shocked that they did not do well with the players that they had.
Excel is actually in the same office as us, and I saw Odo yesterday and he was smiling, so I think they're going to do well.
There you go. There's the narrative. We have it right now.
That's very promising.
There was a smile on Odo's face, which is actually quite a rare thing, I think, to have Odo smile.
I mean,
but he saw me, so maybe he was just happy to see me again.
Yeah.
Reminiscing.
He was like, for a brief second, he thought like, wait.
Oh, we're going to scrims?
We're going to Schalke?
No.
Oh.
No.
Damn it.
Sad
I
still remember that therapy bit. It was
no, that was pretty funny, yeah.
Therapy bit?
You remember the therapy? It was a caster ad where Shox is their therapist and they were just fist fighting?
No, I don't remember that.
I was told that it was the best performance from pro players.
Very realistic.
One of the best because they
was
just
it you and Odo?
Yeah. It was
you were like
acting.
acting gurus?
Method acting. They've been practicing in scrims for months.
No Oscar?
No Oscar. Sad.
But yeah, hopefully...
Snubbed again.
God, my nose is horrible. No, I was just going to say Limit hopefully gives them...
Yeah, it's not a bad nose, dude.
It's fine, dude.
Don't get in your head about it.
God, you're going to make me blush here.
Caedrel just starts thinking about his body parts, which don't match during the podcast.
What about my teeth and my cheeks now?
My teeth and your cheeks. Also good. Good jawline. Anyway.
You guys are just serenading me over here.
Yeah. Speaking of things that...
Marinating?
Marinating.
Okay.
We left Fnatic with some time to marinate. They lost an 80 carry.
They didn't cook.
They've cooked. They've cooked. Will we like what they've cooked is a great question. Wonder gone. Oscarin in. Rux gone. Advian
I don't know how you say it. I think it's Oscarin.
Oscarini Panini, I think. That's how you pronounce it.
Oscarini
Panini joining. Crusher, no longer head coach. Nightshare. Nightshare is...
Nightshade, isn't it?
I thought it was Nightshare.
It's Nightshare, yeah.
It's Nightshare.
Okay.
Who is Freeze's
twin.
Identical twin?
It's his evil twin brother.
It's his evil twin brother.
Could you think they could just like swap teams?
They could. Because
they look exactly the same.
On at least one occasion, walked up to Nightshare with full confidence, assuming it was Freeze, and just made an ass of myself. So, yes.
But it's like having an identical twin must be fun, just make running jokes on people.
Sure.
Yeah, true. What are you thinking of?
Just thought I'd say that and move on.
Okay, good.
So that's my...
I like a good follow-up. Good uncomfortable follow-up. Like what? What joke are you thinking of?
What do you mean by that specifically?
Just
say something
Why are
funny.
you two making me feel so uncomfortable the last 5 minutes?
I don't know. He's so good at it, and I'm just afraid I'm going to be next, so I'm joining.
He's going to join.
This is pack mentality. I'm afraid I'm the next target.
I'm being dinged on. I'm being dinged on. You know what I think? I think we need to sit down and talk about our problems, because we need to address the elephant in the room.
We need to go into Upset's room and just...
have a meeting in Upset's room on the floor.
All right, guys, I'm just going to talk about a problem that I have.
What is this real?
I'm not convinced, guys, that this solves all the problems for Fnatic, but I am convinced that this should be a positive change. What do you think about that? That's not. I just segued. I just didn't.
I feel like you was asking.
Like that. I just didn't even. I didn't even talk about problems.
What did you ask me?
Fnatic did a change. What do you think?
Fnatic did a change. Talk about the change. Talk about on the podcast where we talk about League of Legends. Talk about the team Fnatic who did awful last season.
Upset, take the mic.
And have now changed coaching staff, support, and top lane.
Okay.
Give it to me.
I think that they replaced Bunda felt weird to me.
Agree.
I think he's really good
and
a valuable asset to any team.
That needs new top laner.
But I think they also needed changes, right? They were in the same position as Excel.
Yeah. I
think they believe in Humanoid and Razok to make it work, or at least currently there was no better option available. The support change was kind of obvious because they didn't really make it work together.
Yep.
Reckless and Rux last split.
Worst bot lane alongside the Patrick and Targamas experience. Statistically and obviously with the eye test as well as a rough split.
As far as I know, I remember Advan plays the range supports somewhat well. Or he definitely likes to play them.
Yep.
So I think he will fit better in the meta. So I think it's a positive change, even though on paper maybe some things seem weird.
Mm-hmm.
And it also looked like they didn't really vibe with the coaching last split from the outside. So I think it's a positive change. I think they will do better.
Yeah.
And interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree. I think changes are necessary. I think the surprising one is Wunder. I think it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly why Wunder was taken out or anything like this, but I think the direction that Fnatic was lacking was both their side lanes were just really passive. Like, I didn't see their bot lane ever play like super aggressive.
Yeah.
When you were on Fnatic, it was more so like, let's play around bot all the time. You're the carry. Like, let's give you as much as we can. Wunder will just play flexible. And I feel like that's been Wunder for the last few years, where he is just really flexible. And so when you're drafting both these side lanes, it just feels like you don't have like that really hard lane to play towards.
Yeah.
So with Oscar coming in, who I know is a really heavy carry top laner. Why are you smiling at me? Yeah, I'm struggling a bit. It's the nose.
No, I was just thinking of his real name.
What?
Is it his real name?
Oscarini Panini.
Yes, he was.
Is his real name Oscar? Because I hope so. I hope it's not like the Danny situation where he just has like a different... Yeah, it is Oscar. I just checked.
I think that is also, by the way, the most unhinged thing in the world is if you have a first name and your in-game name is a different first name.
Yeah, like my name is Mark and I just call myself like Jeremy in game.
That's a good name, Jeremy. Jeremy Mr. Smites, dude.
It's actually kind of funny.
He's already training
I get why
for his
people do it
caster
now. It's a little,
He's already training for his caster arc. Oscar is like a really... I spoke to a couple people. He's a bit of a... Not a flip, but he's like a really aggressive, psycho, baby Bwippo style, explosive
is the,
pick Gangplank,
PR
Camille,
term
Fiora.
For volatile top
so
laners.
I think that's good. I think that's really good to have on your team because you may as well have some lane that's just playing like a psychopath that you can play towards.
Yeah, I think it's important to have some more pressure on one side of the map to really have an early game plan that works well, where they don't have to overforce mid so much.
And it's exciting because he's 19 years old. He's really young. He's top 5 on the ladder in solo queue, just playing Jace and Jax and Gangplank. So like that's just, if you want a promising CV of a player in a way, or like things to go off of, that's it. Right.
Also, that motivation can be really infectious. CV, promising CV.
Shut up.
promising cover letter.
No, he's talking about this meme that I made that I thought was funny. And I thought people would see it as a joke, but it didn't turn out to be as much as a joke as I thought.
There was
a lot of angry Spanish fans that were saying, a lot of things.
Do you want to share with the?
I don't want to address the elephant in the room because
it's a parrot, dude.
Well, also you'd have to do it in Spanish because the elephant only speaks Spanish.
I'm being trolled by Upset as well. No, which is ironic because
if you missed it, I'm like Mark made a meme that he thought was tasteful and maybe it turned out to be not that tasteful.
I apologize. Why have I got this part?
Because
so I mean, it removed
to comfort you.
A lot of Spanish fans are upset.
But no, we don't even talk about.
No, we don't even talk about it. You brought it up. Well, no, he brought it up actually.
He's just taking shots. I'm not doing anything. I said C, and you're like making a whole story about it.
You know how we talked about subtlety?
Yeah,
I can see it.
It's good. He's a genius, comedic genius.
He is. He's gonna get cocky if you say that, though.
The thing is, for Fnatic, it can't get worse. So any change I will take as a positive change. I hope that this resets for them and gives them the time that they need to figure out how they want to play as a team. They can start off with a better read on the meta. There were so many problems last season that it's hard to say that this definitively solves all of them. But I'll believe that it gives them at least a more positive start to spring. And certainly a better start than keeping the exact same roster would have given them.
And as much as having like that lane to play towards in top, I do think their bot lane needs to sort their shit out as well. Because, like I said, Europe very bot-centric meta. And I think him coming in, I think he's coming into one of the strongest splits of top laners we had in a while. It's not easy to play through top right now with people like Chasey and Photon just running around destroying everyone. That's disregarding players like Broken Blade as well.
Broken Blade having a good split.
If Odoam steps back up, things like this. So it's tough. Hopefully they can turn around. I mean, they finished 9th. I think they'll probably make playoffs this time around. I would be surprised if they didn't.
I would think so, yeah.
And
Yeah. One other team that made changes, which caught me off guard, because this is a team that has been notoriously not big on making changes mid-season, regardless of their standing in the league, is Astralis.
Yeah.
Mid lane gone. Rumor, I believe, not 100% confirmed yet, is that Leader is now coming in for mid lane. And this is a team that had a surprisingly good performance, and I think will definitely need to step up as teams like Fnatic and Excel sort their shit if they want to continue to make, like top 6, essentially. But what's the read? Leader coming back is always weird to me because I know Leader through a couple lackluster splits here.
I have such a bad joke in my head. It's crazy.
I just typed in Games of Legends Leader, and you know how he screamed at him no? Because he's from Norway, it says NO.
It's a loose episode.
I heard he has a boat, actually.
He's a boat?
Yeah.
What?
For the leadership. That's all I could think about.
I heard in America he had to name change to Gallon.
Did you guys? Where does this come from?
It's the G.
These like dad jokes. Like
I don't know.
I think my favorite. If you're gonna have to use a vote, I think his was better.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Leadership
was way better. I haven't kept up with Leader in recent months, and I'm going to do my research, of course, if he does actually get confirmed.
He plays melee champs.
He does, but like all I know him from are the big memes and kind of the lackluster seasons that he did have with us in the LEC.
And he plays Ryze and Azir as well. I don't know. We haven't seen Leader in a while. I think he hasn't been playing. He went to NA. He went to Golden Guardians in Academy. And then disappeared after a few weeks, came back, and then he's just been grinding solo queue since. Do you know?
And Champions queue. Yeah, he's pretty active, grinding. I think he's definitely better than Dajor, but he also has a really different playstyle. So we have to see how the fit is, because Astralis was really focused on their bot side last split, and I think Leader is probably somebody you should pay more attention to a bit. So, yeah.
Mark, we talked about it before, and obviously Leader has a very distinct champion pool. He's known for melee champions. I like Leader as a player who will always do something. He's always can be very explosive, and I'm curious to see if it works out for Astralis, because I think that was the best performance we've ever seen from Astralis.
Yep, and I think it's an
they
upgrade.
were 5 and 6, right?
5 and 6, yeah. And then
pretty solid.
They beat
BDS. They did the best of 3, right?
They beat BDS. I should know this, but they did a big up
to get top 6. Yeah.
They beat BDS and then they went against Mad and lost. I think it was. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, I think that Euro was their weakest point. I think no one was like really. It's not a shocker to anyone. So Leader coming in, I think the best thing about it is there's no like over expectations of like you need to perform, you know. But the only other side of the pressure is Astralis finished like the best placing they finished in years.
Yeah, I actually think they're kind of there. I would assume, and I'm not Leader, but I would assume there is like because this is the first time we've seen Astralis really make these changes in this quick of a turnaround. You know, admittedly they played for Dayor with a long time, but this is the least Astralis move I've ever. Usually, like even if a roster does bad, they're the kind of team that's like, we're gonna stick with them through thick and thin, and people are like, please change somebody. But now they're very quick on the trigger, and admittedly they did play for a decent amount of time with Dayor. So I think that Astralis probably has some expectations for themselves, or at least the organization must, because this is the most aggressive roster move we've seen from them. I'm gonna say ever, without complete memory of all their roster moves. So I think it's tough. It's a difficult time, probably the hardest time to join Astralis, although the most exciting time to join Astralis as well, because they finally feel like they can do something. But the counter side to that is that it's going to be way harder this season. Unless two teams just explode again. Like when Upset punches Perkz in the face and it all goes to shit. You know what I mean? Like, unless
you're not
the
better AD carry.
How dare you talk about my 2v2? Does this look like Zaya? Hit him, knock him down and peg.
Stop 2019, Grandpa.
Damn. Just get them. You know, unless two other teams just explode the way that Excel and Fnatic did.
I feel like teams always explode.
It's hard. Inevitable. This season is going to be much, much harder.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of pressure, personally.
Yeah. But diamonds are formed under pressure.
No place more pressure than to play in Astralis.
They finished the same as Vitality, so I guess you have the same amount of pressure as them.
True.
Fitzig.
True. Yeah.
True.
I hope we do well
Need
versus
to beat
Astralis.
need to beat the SK next time.
Yep. All right. Week 1. Who do you guys play? You guys
SK
play
were
XL,
insane.
Mad, and Fnatic. So you get to play both the teams that went boom last split.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty hype.
Yeah, it's exciting
And
to
Mad.
play again. Of course, I think I play versus Hilly and against Fnatic, so it's pretty cool
Oh.
to just have that opportunity again.
Do you feel like
hmm?
any feelings of resentment? Like is your joining Vitality, is this just like a clean fresh start for you, or are you like out for revenge? One time for the narrative. out
One
there.
time for the narrative.
Is
for the one-liners.
Is this a fresh start, a new chapter for Upset, or is this revenge?
I mean, actually, I wanted to say that I have like also really a lot of great memories in Fnatic and really an amazing time. I had so much fun with Hilly, and I mean, even in my first year, even though at the end it ended like very traumatically for me and very sad,
Mhm.
I still have like fond memories of basically everyone.
Yeah.
And it was really a great time for me, playing for them and representing them. It of course, like how the last offseason went and the differences we had were pretty sad, and it was like a super stressful time for me and my family. But overall, I still have a lot of good things for Fnatic. I think we had like, of course, we didn't win it, but we always were like a top team, and we qualified twice. So I have a lot of positive feelings as well towards them, even though maybe right now it's not the time to feel that way because of the difficult offseason, the recency bias. But it's not like I don't like them or anything.
In
like
5
that.
years, you can maybe look back at your time on Fnatic fondly, and there's still things that were great.
I definitely want to completely crush them.
We got both.
No.
We got both.
It
we
was
got
the nice
revenge,
humble answer,
and
and
we got
then
nice.
we got the
Good job.
It's
Good job.
So now we just tell the analyst they have to clip it and put it on the.
Clip it and put it on the.
no,
thing.
don't clip it. No, but I mean, it's the first game of the first week was like a week of scrims, so it's gonna be a fun rodeo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they have, of course, still really good players on their team. They didn't click at all last split, so we will have to see how they show up. But yeah, I'm excited to play against them. Of course, I want to really win. It is somewhat like important for me.
Yeah.
But to be honest, in this format, I just want any win I can get. I really just want to make it to best of threes. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it seems like the desire for revenge or the importance of beating former teammates feels probably outweighed by 5 days of scrims just trying to show up on stage and look decent.
Yeah.
You know, like of all the pressures in the world.
It's also like a best of one. It's like, yeah, it's never.
It's true. Actually, the best of ones is quite funny because you watch the best of threes. It's like, I can't remember which teams it was, but one team stomped.
Yep.
And it was like best three's over. Then the other team stomped them back, and it's like, well, if this was best of one, what the fuck's going on? Like,
We would have learned nothing.
Didn't like BDS or something beat G2 in the first game? Oh no, it was game 2, I think.
Yeah.
But if it was just a
Game
single
2 they
game,
won, yeah.
it's like, holy shit, BDS is.
They're
BDS
like the best.
smashed G2. G2s are terrible.
I mean, G2 was also 4th in regular season, I think.
Yeah.
Or something.
Which
like
I gotta say,
They
this is the
were-
best thing as a broadcaster. This is the best part about this split is that it's like we're not reliant on 8 weeks of best of ones to figure out if a team is good or not.
It's crazy exciting to watch, I think.
Yeah.
And it's really like can be super stressful to play. But it can also be good. Like if you are like not a great team, you can really have like a good run and look better than you are.
But if
Yeah.
you're
In this
like a
format.
good team, it's best of ones. Like so,
It's
so
a lot of
little best
pressure.
ones.
If you're like if you think you're good, then you would want to play like only best of 5s.
Yep.
Like the least amount of variance.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
Agreed.
agreed.
Matchup I'm most excited for personally. First game, week 1 on Saturday, XL versus Fnatic. Both teams went boom.
Which team's gonna go boom again?
If they both look like a hot mess, like it doesn't like this just has because there's obviously every best of one matters and every best of one is high stakes and a lot of teams have made changes. You know, Vitality's made changes, Charlotte made changes. There's a lot of people making changes across the league, but these are the two teams that failed so spectacularly that like someone's gonna walk away from this embarrassed. It's almost cruel that they have to play each other because if in their perfect world, both of them get to show up and stomp in their first game and be like, "See, look at us, we're great." You know,
But
look
at least one of them gets a dub, right?
yeah. Now one of them.
So that's good.
So one of them is first place by the end of day one.
Yeah.
No, I think it's funny, isn't it? It's like you two are the first ones to get knocked out. You haven't played in the longest, so crack on. First game, day one.
Have at it, boys.
Go on then. Show us
Go
what
on.
you've done.
So-
Show us what you've been working on. Show us what you've cooked up.
Nah, it's gonna be hype. Is there any other games you're pumped for, Caedrel, other than
I'm just
Vitality
excited.
Fnatic for the upset storyline?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're casting that one or not. I can't remember, but I'm gonna come in. Whoever's there is gonna come in hot. Upset versus his old team.
Yeah, I think it's Fnatic Vitality.
Bad blood, even though he explicitly said there wasn't bad blood. Bad blood.
How do you think you're going to adjust to it in this format? Because you only have like 3 days of scrims, 3 days game day. You know, you have a lot less, because you were talking about it earlier. It's like you don't have as much room to improve because it's so fast paced, the format.
Yeah.
You also don't have as much room for creativity as well, do you? Like,
Yeah,
you have to stick to
I
getting
think
wins.
only if you're already doing well, you can like experiment a little bit.
Yeah.
But even that, like Koi went 3-0 the first week, and I think they had like a slow week too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last split.
Mhm.
And then they were kind of struggling to make playoffs. You know, it really goes super fast that you have to cut a corner. So yeah, I would prefer, of course, like from a competitive standpoint, I would like a longer split with only best of threes. That would be like the dream scenario for like, at least you're gonna end up where you're kind of supposed to be, somewhat. But from like a experience, it's gonna be really fun. I think it's gonna be super.
Gotta get in the goal.
It's gonna be a roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm ready. It all starts this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days every week for 3 weeks. The gauntlet before we eliminate 2 teams. We're starting again, brand new split, new teams, which is crazy. Fast turnaround, a lot of new teams. So I'm ready for it. I'm pumped. New patch, 13.4.
New players.
True.
There's this fresh rookie I heard
My
called
rookie split.
Upset.
Upset. Yep.
Yeah, there's a bit of hype around him. So we'll see how he does.
Yep.
I heard he's quite cocky.
Yeah, I warned his manager that his manager might have to sub in the first
My
game.
PR advisor said, this is not my brand anymore. You have to stop associating these words with me.
Your PR.
I don't have one, but it sounds fun.
It's like the voice in his head.
Humble. The very humble
Upset
and
is very
endearing
humble.
Upset.
Yes.
Humble and endearing
That's
Upset.
That's his new slogan.
That's his new brand. We're
And
just
when he
gonna
gets like a
say those
pentakill,
words.
you can scream like, the humble.
He's so humble! Look at how humble he is! He's flashing that emote! It's so humble.
And then we get a round of applause for him.
I like the amount of round
On
of
the
applause.
caster desk.
Round of applause for everybody. Great episode of Euphoria. This has been Season 11, Episode 8 of the Euphoria Podcast. Thank you again, Upset, for joining us. Check him out on social media and this weekend on stage. Saturday, Sunday, Monday are the broadcast days as we resume normal times. This is the new schedule. Get used to it. We'll be back next week with a new episode of Euphoria. We'll see you then.
Be there.
Or B
Or
squared.
B. Or B.
B.
Or
It's like vitality.
Or just B.
What is B squared? You have to find it.
B
Algebra.
squared?
Maybe vitality
It's
is a math
honey.
class.
B squared is honey, I think.
Was this what you guys were like on a team together?
B squared.
I'm just hoping he's cut at this point. Like he just fades us out into the background. Or
What
maybe
were we
when
like
like
on a
the
team?
YouTube things are going in the background, like the images are there, it's still just
I don't
playing
remember.
us
What were we like on a team?
talking together. Probably not this friendly because he had to deal with you as a jungler.
He's about to leave, so I
Wait.
think he probably didn't like
Is
me.
the podcast still going? I want to keep talking.
You can if you want.